Hello friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel and the exciting series of Jenkins tutorial for beginners. In today's video, we are going to talk about some important concept called as Jenkins pipeline. So without any delay, let's get started. In today's video, we are going to learn what is pipeline, what types of Jenkins pipeline syntax we have, what is declarative pipeline, what is scripted pipeline, and finally we are going to have a demo session where I'm going to walk you through about how to write a declarative pipeline and how to write a scripted pipeline. So let's move further. So what is pipeline? A pipeline is a collection of steps or jobs which are interlinked with one another in a sequence. In short, it is a collection of steps or collection of sequences which needs to get executed, right? A CI/CD pipeline is an automated way of getting a source code from a version control system to the users via different stations such as version control system, code inspection, test cases execution, build, artifact creation, artifact repository, and the deployment on the servers. The pipeline are also referred as deployment as a code. The Jenkins pipeline is written into a text file called as a Jenkins file. And note, you can rename this Jenkins file with another file name, what you want, like say for an example, my Jenkins file or pipeline Jenkins file. It doesn't matter, but this whole script is written in the Jenkins file, which is a declarative pipeline or it can be a scripted pipeline. So what types of Jenkins pipeline syntax we have? But before that, let's understand that Jenkins is based on DSL, which is a domain specific language. So pipeline can be written in two types of syntaxes. One is declarative pipeline syntax and one is scripted pipeline syntax. Both these declarative and scripted pipelines are fundamentally the same pipeline subsystem in the need, but the syntaxes are different. That's why it is called, one is called as a declarative pipeline and one is called as a scripted pipeline. So now let's learn what is declarative pipeline. So declarative pipeline is more recent and the advanced implementation of pipeline has a code. Declarative pipeline was created to offer a simpler, more oriented and well-defined syntax for authoring the Jenkins pipeline. This is an important point to be noted. In declarative pipeline, you specify what you want. Declarative pipeline limits what is available to the user with a more strict and predefined structure, making it an ideal choice for simpler CI/CD pipeline. One important thing of declarative pipeline is it supports the code validation. The code validation gets done before executing any stage. And an important thing which declarative pipeline supports is to restart from the fail stage. Don't worry, we will go through how does declarative pipeline supposed to restart from the fail stage. Don't worry. Moving to the scripted pipeline, where we will know what is the difference between the declarative pipeline and the scripted pipeline and why the declarative pipeline is the simpler and more oriented defined syntax for the CI/CD pipelines. So what is scripted pipeline? Scripted was the first and traditional implementation of the pipeline as a code in Jenkins. It was designed as a general purpose DSL, which is domain specific language. Scripted pipeline offers a tremendous amount of flexibility and extendability to the users. Remember this point. In scripted pipeline, you specify what you want and how it should be done. But remember, in declarative pipeline, we just specify what we want. We don't specify how it should be done. So that's the major difference between a declarative pipeline and the scripted pipeline. Another major difference between the two pipeline syntaxes is scripted pipeline does not support any kind of code validation before executing the stage, due to which it will throw an error at the time of execution of a specific step, which has syntax error or a typo. But remember, in case of declarative pipeline, it does a code validation, means it validates your syntax or how you have written, and even before executing that declarative pipeline script, it validates that. So that's the beauty of declarative pipeline, and why the CI/CD pipeline prefers that, has a more idle choice. Another important on the last comparison between the declarative pipeline and the scripted pipeline is that scripted pipeline does not support the restart from stage option. Don't worry, we will go through in our demo session as how the declarative pipeline supports the restart option while the scripted does not support that. So that's an overview of what is declarative pipeline, what is scripted pipeline, what are pipelines in Jenkins. Before we move to our demo session, let's have just a theoretical or I would say the image of how does the scripted pipeline looks versus how does the declarative pipeline syntax looks. So this is how your scripted pipeline looks like. You declare a node, you declare a stage, what you want to do in that stage. Okay, while if you see the case of declarative pipeline, you have this is the syntax difference, where you declare a pipeline, then you have an agent where you can basically run this declarative pipeline on any node or any agent, but also you can declare a specific agent on which, or a node on which you want your declarative syntax or the script to be executed. And then we have something called as a stage, where we basically define the stage and the steps in it. I hope you got a difference or a gist of declarative versus the scripted pipeline syntax. Don't worry, we will be having a demo session on this in next few minutes. So let's move to our demo session. So friends, welcome to our demo session. So I've already created 2 folders by logging to my Jenkins dashboard, which you see on the screen. The Jenkins is running on the EC2 instance. If you haven't gone through my previous videos of how to install Jenkins on AWS EC2 instance, kindly go through in that playlist and you will see the steps of how to run your Jenkins on AWS EC2 instance. Not only that, there are a couple of other playlists which will help you to learn the Jenkins if you are a starter in and you are stepping into the DevOps field. So now let's move to our 2 folders, which is basic and restart stage. Don't worry. Now in this basic, we are going to first create a job for the scripted syntax, and then I'm going to show you the declarative syntax. So now let's just click on the job and let's type it as a script demo. Okay, and click on pipeline. Once you have done that, click OK. You can also select lots of options, like if you want to discard the old builds, if you don't want to allow the concurrent builds to be executed, couple of other things. So, and these are the build triggers. So don't worry on that. Let's go down where you see something called as a pipeline. And that's where you have two types of definition to be declared here. So one is the pipeline script. Second is the pipeline script from the SCM, which is nothing but your Git repository or a source control, right? So you can declare here Git. Remember, I was talking about the something called as the Jenkins file. That's where you need to have the Jenkins file in your Git repository. But this Jenkins file will contain the pipeline script, which can be either a declarative pipeline script or it can be a scripted pipeline script. And then you need to basically define your Git repository. If it's a private, then you need to declare, you need to add your credentials. If it's public, then from which branch you want to go ahead and look that, and then the couple of other things. So I'm not going to go into this, but let's start with a simple pipeline script. Okay, and that's where you have some kind of samples here, like hello world, GitHub plus Maven scripted pipeline. So now let's just focus on our scripted pipeline. So now I'm going to declare here something called as a node, and that's where I declare. Now I have a stage which says hello. Okay, remember the syntax, right? And then I am writing something called as an echo. Okay, now before even showing you that how does this scripted pipeline does the validation of the code, let's just type some echo with a syntax error. So I'm typing echo here as hello, and I'm just saving it. And now let's do the build now and see what's happening. Remember, it got failed. It directly executed and it went into a fail stage. So let's now see the console log. So when I click on console output, it says you have declared a pipeline called as a stage, in that you have hello, but there is nothing at the end of this. And then it throws some error. So this error, we don't know what is the error kind of thing. So that's where it has not done the syntax check or the code validation. It has directly executed and thrown an error to you. That's the main drawback of the scripted pipeline, where it does not validate your code. Now, let's go back to our scripted demo. Okay, click on configure. Okay, and then let's scroll down and correct this. Now I have corrected this, save it, and now I'm building it. See, it got executed now correctly, right? You can check the log here and it has printed a hello world. Now let's go to our console output and see how it has worked. So it is running on the Jenkins, which whatever is the node, master node. Then it has a stage called as hello. And in that we have done or written a command called as echo hello, and it has printed and it has gone to the success stage. So that's how the scripted pipeline is written. And important, as I mentioned, it does not any validation, right? That's one thing. Now let's go back to our folder called as basic, and now let's let's go to this and add a new item for the declarative. So I'm writing here declarative demo. Okay, let's create pipeline here. We are again on the same page, scroll down, and here we have a pipeline script. All I'm going to do is select here hello world, and it has generated a declarative syntax for me. You don't need to remember that. I will show you a trick of how it helps you to generate the pipeline script in our next few minutes video. Okay, so I have declared this, we have declared this, we have everything now, but all I'm going to do is I'm going to write one more stage called here as stage. Okay, and I'm going to write here pipeline. Sorry for the typo error. Pipeline, and now I'm going to write steps. Okay, and here it has generated, and now let's just write the same thing. Hello to declarative pipeline, and then just click as save, and now see what magic happens with a declarative pipe. Let's click on build now, and it has executed, but it has not shown, the pipeline has not been executed. It has thrown an error to us. So now let's go to the console output, and you see it has basically validated the steps, right? It has thrown an error at stage pipeline and also at the steps syntax, right? So that's how the declarative pipeline does the code validation. Now let me go back to declarative demo, go to the config. Okay, scroll down, and let me just correct everything into this. Okay, this is how it is. Remember, I have not given here closing steps, and that's where it threw an error, right? And that's how the declarative pipeline helps us to do the magic of the code validation. And now let me just do this. Okay, and let me save it, and now let's run the build now, and let's see what happens. Just a sec. Okay, and now it has executed. You see, it has given us the stage. So hello has also been executed, and the pipeline stage has also been executed. If we check the log, it says, it prints we have done an echo statement, right? So it displaces that. And if we check the pipeline stuff, it displaces that also, right? So let's now go to the console output and see how does it looks. So the stage hello has been executed, it called as hello world. The stage pipeline has also been executed, and it is called suck, and it has gone to success. So that's how the basic difference between the scripted and the declarative syntax, or the pipeline script we call it has. It helps declaratives, basically makes you alert before even executing that pipeline, where it does all the code validation, syntax checks whether you have write everything what is needed or not, whereas the script does that. It directly executes the pipeline, and it then throws an error, and it also does not gives us exactly where the error has occurred, right? Now let's move to our next stuff, which is the restart stage. So let's go there now. So friends, we are back to our Jenkins dashboard, where I have created a folder called as restart stage. So let's click on that. Let's create a job called as scripted demo, right? We will write here scripted restart underscore demo. Let me click on pipeline. Let's go here, and let's just quickly type our scripted pipeline. Stage, let me type here build echo. This is build stage. Okay, let me again go again, let me type here stage, type here deploy, build test. Okay, and let's type here, this is test stage. Okay. Let's go to another stage called a stage deploy. Okay. And let's type here echo. This is deploy stage. And let's just save it. Okay. Let's build now here. And if you see, it has executed the build stage. You see, it is build stage here. Okay. And then it says here, this is stage. And then it has failed here. It has given some message and it has failed at the deploy stage. If you see on the left hand side, it hasn't given you any option from where to restart. Say tomorrow, if I fix this syntax error, I should get an option saying that I just want to restart the deploy stuff. I do not want to restart the whole build. That's where it does not gives an option. Now let's go to configure and let's fix this and see what happens. Save it. Build now. So it does not gives you an option. I have fixed it. Now it hasn't given me an option to restart from the deploy stage, but not. Now I need to build this whole again, the pipeline again whole, and then it executes stage by stage, which is the build stage, test stage, and the deploy stage. So that's the drawback of the scripted pipeline. Now let's go to our declarative pipeline. So I'm clicking here, declarative restart demo, and I'm clicking here on pipeline. Okay, I go, just type hello world. I'm just going to write here build. This is build stage. Test. Deploy. And let's just save. Build now. So if you see here, okay, it has basically failed, right? Because it has done the validation of the code, right? And now let me go back and fix this quickly, and then you will see the magic of the declarative script. So I'm going to the config, okay, and I'm just going to basically fix this, okay, stage, save it, and then I'm going to build now here, okay, and that's how it gets executed. But if you see, we have got an option called as restart from stage. So from which stage I want the declarative to be started, I can do at build, test, or deploy. So that's the beauty of this. So now it has just executed the deploy stage. So it gives you an option once you fix the error from which stage you want your pipeline script to be executed. And that's the beauty of declarative versus the scripted pipeline syntax. So I hope you got an understanding of the declarative versus the scripted and why declarative is the choice for CI/CD pipeliners, scripters, right? That's where. Remember, I was talking about that you don't need to worry about the syntax or some kind of thing, right? So once you go down and once you go to the pipeline, this is a bonus tip. There is something called as a pipeline syntax. So this helps you to generate the syntax for the pipeline, right? So you can have a snip generator, declarative generator. Say tomorrow, if I want just to write certain stages, right? So it generates for you. So this is the syntax, right? If you want when condition, that's what it generates for you. So all you don't need to worry about the syntaxes. So we have, like, you can declare your environmental variable here. It generates the environment loop for you. You can also have an options here, right? You have lots of options here, whether you want to generate the timestamp for each and every step, right? And what is the how should it looks like, right? Then you have parameters, declaratives, then you have something, tools, when condition, postage, everything is here. And this is an online documentation available on the cloud site, right? So that's how it helps you. It has global variable references. So that's how you can basically use the global variables in your declarative pipeline. And here is a snip. Say tomorrow, if you want to write a simple echo statement, right? It just type a message and it will generate for you. Say you are not much familiar with the PowerShell script, and now you want to you want that to be written or executed by your Jenkins pipeline script. It does for you. So all you need to write is this, and it generates a PowerShell and it will write that for you, right? So you want to send an email, you can do that. That's how the beauty of the pipeline syntax is, and it's an ideal choice for all the Jenkins engineers, or I would call as CI/CD pipeline engineers, right? It gives you lots of options. You want to check to do that. So that's how I hope this video was an helpful, and it gave you an gist of how to write a pipeline syntax or a Jenkins pipeline script for your day-to-day job. Take care, Shaba care, and see you in the next session. Bye bye.